Another day, another piece of DLC released for Total War. Oddly enough, this was for Rome 2, which came out 4 years ago. To be honest, I don't mind a developer going back to a past title and adding some content to extend the replay value. I would have preferred it to be for Attila, which is superior to Rome 2, but I digress. The new DLC takes place during the 3rd century crisis, which is another civil war that divided Rome into 3 factions: Gallic Rome, Rome, and Palmyra. These factions are playable as well as 7 others. Honestly, the selection is a bit weak, but if these factions are fully fleshed out, it would more than make up for it. We will begin our conquest as Gallic Rome, mainly because it looks to be the most manageable out of the 3 early on. Just a side note, I hate managing large empires right out the gate, since their armies are always so minuscule compared to their size, and many provinces are severely underdeveloped. I spend the first few turns rushing my armies to the borders and trying to build them up as fast as possible. I usually lose a few territories and regain them in due time, pretty much what happened here. But enough of that, let's look at what has been tweaked and added. Sanitation has been added and works just like it does in Attila. You need your sanitation to be above the squalor level in the settlement in order to prevent any outbreaks of diseases. The only difference though is a lack of any buildings that apply to all settlements in the province, severely limiting your viable building strategies. Banditry has also been added, which is a level that accumulates over time. Think of it like corruption and how it grows as the empire expands. If the level is high, there's a higher chance of your tax revenue being stolen. Unlike sanitation, however, there are very few buildings to combat this, which becomes more of a problem with late game to deal with. However, the most notable change to civil management are the introduction of cults. These can be built for free and provide huge bonuses towards sanitation and public order. However, nothing in life is truly free. As they are upgraded, they begin to spread their own culture. This can cause some serious long-term public order issues, but knowing how to counter these effects is key to a stable empire. For the 4,857th time, the political system has been reworked. Now there is a clear faction leader instead of just random senators farting around. You can now hire statesmen and put them on missions to help improve the political party's loyalty, and as diplomats to improve relations with other factions. The government type can also be changed, but this almost never comes into play as you need a crap ton of money to do so, and the public order hit can be detrimental. These changes are okay, but nothing groundbreaking or original. A missed opportunity was the chance to bring back the family tree, kinda like the game Total War Attila. This could have easily added more interest to the political game and keep players invested as they use their wives to assassinate all the political leaders or have their brothers embezzle funds for the war chest. However, the biggest disappointment comes in the battle system. Absolutely no improvements or additions were made. The same strategies you know and love work here, and many of the units are copy and paste, which is bizarre considering this is hundreds of years in the future from the original campaign. Heck, generals still use chariots and they are still ridiculously overpowered. I got over 600 kills in one match using one unit of chariots. That's insane, especially since these were severely outdated at the time. There are also some notable additions, like how the 3 Roman factions have events that come up and allow you to pick a choice and see the consequences play out, and that certain technologies cost money to research. Overall though, this DLC is severely lacking. Outside of cults, nothing substantial or noteworthy has really been added. I might have been a bit too excited for it and expected too much, but how can you blame me? The 3rd century crisis was a huge turning point for Rome and how the empire carried itself until its eventual demise. The biggest sin comes from the lack of any changes to the battle system. Since nothing there was addressed, the battles feel worse now than they did years ago, especially if you played the latest Total Wars. I get that the player base for Rome 2 is way larger than Attila's, and it makes sense from a business perspective, but from a quality perspective, it should have been released for Attila to take advantage of that game's improvements. I can't recommend it since I didn't enjoy myself. A huge disappointment and wasted opportunity for greatness.